Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Anshu coming back with today's Hindu editorial analysis. So we are going to cover 25 Feb 2025 editorial in which there is editorials, front page covering international relation news. So let's have a recap what we are going to cover and start this session. So the front page covering about the fresh hurdles delay, rescue of 8 trapped in Telangana tunnel. In pole-bound Bihar, Modi initiated the funds of transfer of farmers. Next is about the merge on the coast to take Germany top place to unite Europe. And the same thing is related to this editorial also. Basically, this news is derived from there here. And also the pictures that showing about the festivals, the culture, the rituals that held in the Kerala. And Gupta elected as a Delhi Assembly Speaker, MLA take as an oath in a Mathili Sanskrit Urdu. Fourth one is covering the editorials about the RTI is now right to delay information. Fifth article is about the phasing out interfaith relationship in New India. Sixth article is about the UGC mandate to elevate, not to strangulate. Seventh is about the internet shutdowns, highest in 2024 globally. India's top in government order curves. And one small corner news about not a business as usual. Eighth is about why the pilots asking for rest hour. And continuing to this article, there is one more. It's about the weekly rest pilot race for 48 hours. And Kota Care initiative rolls out step to support incidents in coaching hub. And the last is about the surveillance capitalism, power to control personal data. And the state news is MP attracts investor worth 3 lakh crore at a global summit. So these are we are going to cover. So let's start our day with a thought of the day. The great things are done by a series of small things that brought together. There is a thought that if you can't be a great, just do the things in a great way. So everything to be being a great, you have to do our actions with the small steps that make us great. So let's starting with the first page about the fresh hurdles delay that 8 trapped in Telangana tunnel. So this news covering it incident happened on a Sunday. It's the Trinamool district of Telangana where there is a 150 separate rescue team from the worker as a debris, CPS water, the agencies and tunnel boring machine. So 8 persons are trapped there, and the 8% were the 2 engineers and 2 technical staffs and 4 workers. 4 workers trapped in 40 kilometer of just remember the tunnel. It's Srilam left bank canal tunnel near the Domlapeta in Nagar Kurnool district of Telangana. So it is a more than even 60 hours after a portion of tunnel collapsed on Saturday, and the teams here guiding is NDRF and also the 16 hours the center of personal state agency being able to cross 150-meter tunnel barrier, and there is a tunnel boring machine is covered with the debris mud but could not use equipments they took. So next is about the important news for state pictures for Bihar is about the pole bound Bihar. Modi initiated the fund transfer scheme. The scheme here is talking about the PM Nidhi scheme, PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. Schemes can be asked. So just this is an important scheme. Just have a go through this. So what this scheme implementing here, basically it's a support for the 2000 is transferred to each farmer accounts, and the total support come from 6000 in 3 equal tranches. So PM Kisan scheme, this is a 19th installment that is going to in the scheme from the Bhagalpur election bound Bihar. The election is going to happen in Bihar, so these are schemes are implementing. So 2000 rupees is nothing much more for a farmers costing. And so here the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan and other Union Deputy Chief Minister. So this is the initiation that a transfer of 22,000 crores in the bank account of 9.8 crore farmers. So moving to the next is the merge seeks to be form a government with Germany center left. So the Germany conservative elections winner Friedrich Merz said on Monday that would talks with the central left to build a government. So here the Christian Democratic leader said he would reach the Special Democrats, vanquish the Chancellor. So here Germany, there is a Chancellor, like in our country there is a Prime Minister. In same way, in Germany there is a elections of a chancellors for the hope of forging the stable ruling alliance, two traditions with a big 10 parties. And the Mr. Merz 69 had won a ruling coalition in within the 2 months, so Berlin can act again on European world stage after some paralysis since the Scholz's coalitions imploded in November. So same news is related to the second page that I've said. Merz on the course of take Germany top pledges to unite the Euro. So the Friedrich Merz course on to become post World War II Germany. He is the Germany 10th Chancellor after the country elections that has waived with the Trump administration and Russian war on Ukraine. So the merge task will complicate the coalitions and central left democratic outgoing chancellor of Olaf Scholz. So he's from the conservative leaders, head the center right union bloc, won the Germany's 28.5% of votes. And the Sunday night, the top job has been coming lawyer profession. He's a lawyer by profession, and who saw his ascent derailed by former chancellor, it's Angela Merkel, in 2000, even with turned back in active. So the new direction is Germany need to talk to Russia to drive a hand bargain for Europe. So when German wins some vote on Sunday, one of the most consequential election history is about doubt about outcome. The Olaf Scholz, a three-party coalition, has collapsed month earlier and had a centrist. So the Democratic Party (SPD) was hugely unpopular, was in the third year of economic contractions. So the vote share here is the largest bloc with 28.5% vote, while the AFD doubled its vote share to 20.8%. So the Social Democrats got only got 16.1% share, and one of the worst performances since 19th century, and the Green won 11.6. And the left wing Die Linke saw a rise popularity with 8.8% vote of Mr. Germany. With Mr. Germany had asked the voter to strong mandate to fix Germany problem. So Mr. Merz has already ruled out alliance with the AFD, which allocated his 152 seats in 630 member Bundestag. A coalition needed 316 seats to form a government. So the Merz won 208 seats. And the Social Democrats with 120 seats. So which barely grown since the pre-COVID year tackle the immigration problem, which exploited by far right to formulate the policy that addresses the Ukraine war and joined the Western allies in imposing sanctions. So the next one is about the Gupta elected as Delhi Assembly speakers. MLA has oath in Maithili Sanskrit. So here the speaker Vijendra Gupta was elected as a speaker of Delhi in the 8th Legislative Assembly Monday by pro-tem Speaker Arvinder Singh Lavli, administrated as a to legislature. So here one picture is about, might be the picture is not clear here. I'm just showing. Sorry. So here the caprison elephants lined on the ground of a renowned Thodunkulla Bhagavati temple at a Kalapuli in Kerala's Palakkad during the Kumutti Mahotsav on Monday. Temple is dedicated to Bhagavati. So next is about territorial. RTI is now the right to delay information. Let's cover this editorial. So here basically the writer is saying that the right to information is now to right to deny informations. How he is saying that, like right to information was a move that generated a great hope for citizens of a nation. It empowered them to seek information for government. It looked at the Swaraj that they had missed to deliver them, codified the fundamental right to information, was one of the best transparency in the laws in the world. So it would curb the corruptions, arbitrariness, with the citizens being vigilance monitor. So within a few moments, government realized that the transfer of power from public servant to citizen. In a less than a year, it amended the law which would weaken the RTI Act. But these were the widespread protests by the citizen across the nation. So what is a gradual erosion here? So the here RTI created an information commission as a final appellate authority to implement the law. So most of the posts were of information commissioner were taken up by retired bureaucrats. The cases are taken by retired bureaucrats. And after working for decades, senior bureaucrats, it was difficult them to hand over a power to citizens and recognize that they were rightful owner of government. So no attempt was made to select people with record in transparency. And many of them looked at this job as a post-retirement sinecures and worked only for few hours, while the national average disposal cases by high court judges is over 2500 is in a year, and average disposal cases for commission is less than this. At least there is clearing at least 5000 cases in a year, while the law mandate period of 30 days information to be provided and the same period for a first time appellate authorities. It did not specify any time and began the pendency over a year. So the right to information was being converted to right to history. So how the denying informations that led to create to right to information as a right to history. Many ordinary citizens could not pursue the issue of denial informations. So the various messages from High Court, Section 8 of RTI Act, where the fundamental rights that had to be constructed strictly as in law. Parliament had crafted the exemption carefully. So here the Central Board of Secondary Education versus Aditya Bandyopadhyay in paragraph 33 that some of the RTI Act is the nature of exceptions which empower the citizen and right to freedom of speech, and that therefore the sections is accountability and the functioning of public authorities. So the productive work of collecting, furnishing, misuse or abuse use the tool to construct, they justify the RTI Act. Second major blow is a judgment of Girish Ramchandra Deshpande versus the Central Information Commission. As the RTI applications, Girish Ramchandra Deshpande sought the copies of all memos. So section 8(1)(j), the section exempts the information related, it's information related to the personal information, disclosure of which no relationship to any public activity or interest which could cause the unwarranted invasion of privacy of individual unless the central public information officer is satisfied with the larger public interest, justify the disclosure and denied to the parliament of state legislature shall not be to any person. So a simple reading is that under this clause a personal can be denied if it has apparently no relationship to any public activity. The court did not rule whether the information was an outcome of a public activity. Its disclosure would amount to an unwarranted invasion. So section 37, the court's dedication to interpret a statute that can involve with the same ambiguous and this cannot rewrite or recast. So a call to citizen is that RTI fulfills its original promises to we should go to the original act and not allow any distortion. Citizen and media must take up responsibility to discuss and defend it. We will have a deletion of fundamental rights under Article 19(1)(a) of our Constitution of India. So next is about the fencing out the interfaith relationship in New India. So here the writer is telling about the Uttarakhand become the first state to implement the UCC Uniform Civil Code, placing a private relationship under state surveillance. The officials claims that it would restore the gender justice, create uniformity and address the administrative oversight. However, when taken along with existing anti-conversion law, this remarks a coordinated legal push to segregate the community not just in faith but also in love and daily life. So UCC is a final blow, ensuring that all the forms of interfaith relations are regulated in India, in New India. So what are the hurdles writer is telling about? What are the hurdles creating? Like the person's there is interfaith marriage already faces the immense social barrier, like a survey where the 70,000 responded found only 10% of urban peoples are responded outside their caste, who married outside their caste, and interfaith unions were barely reported only 5% of urban unresponded religion, and the secular And Secular Special Marriage Act 1954 has an administrative hurdle, like there is a mandatory of 30-day notice period where the couple's synchronity. Meanwhile, the rigid anti-conversion law now enforced in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Uttarakhand, among the other states, have further criminalized the religious conversion for marriage. So the law creates a bureaucratic traps as a mandatory declaration, waiting period, restrict magistrate approvals that deter the conversion of marriage. And worse, they embodied like it's a vigilant group often linked to right-wing organization justify harassment, public violence, interfaith couples, particularly Hindi Muslim. So a news portal found at least 63 of 101 police complaints involving the UP anti-conversion law against Christian were filed. A third party vigilant involving the instead of protecting individual, these laws provide a legal cover for extrajudicial interventions. So, against the background, the UCC provision in live-in relationship, secretary new extreme informal relationship are subjected to surveillance. Like, what are the problems they're facing and how it is created? Like, there is 16, well, for live-in relationship, you have to register a 16-page application with a Aadhaar card, residential proof, and also like these notifying their family members. The registrar must inform the couple parents or guardians about their relationship. So the failure to register is punishable and up to 6 months of imprisonment and a fine of 25,000. That it likes a, what it is something like that they have did anything like a criminal activity. Even that criminals do not penalize so much as these cases are implemented. A fine of not registering the living relationship within the 6 months, a fine of 25,000. So it's just creating a problems for the living couples, like that only living couples successfully registered relationship live in their another legal protection from High Court. Even the Bajrang Dal leader claims to have a source on detailed living applications. So the ability of such vigilant interference in private relations underscore how UCC and anti-conversion law work for tandem to suppress the interfaith unions. And what is a form of apartheid is as there is a social apartheid, individual cannot marry or even in the relationship with so-called other prior legal religious institutions. And the combined system of function in three ways, like first by strengthening the traditional religious institution in requirement of religious certification both in UCC and anti-conversion law. Second is by enabling the families to exercise a greater control over women. Both laws disproportionately impact the women also. For men it is somehow it can manage, but for women it created a face pressure, coercion, even violent punishment for engaging in interfaith intercaste relationship. By notifying the families of living relation, UCC make women more vulnerable to honor based and violence and familial control. Women in interfaith relationship are often framed as a victim of manipulation, stripping of agency, reinforcing patriarchal control over their choices. A third bill providing a legal cover is providing a legal cover of right-wing vigilant harassment, interfaith couples married and unmarried under the guise of preserving tradition and the law. When the interfaith couple attempt to register a live-in relationship or convert for a marriage, the vigilant groups are often first to know due to legal requirements of public notices and family notification. Amid rising hate speeches, polarization law effectively legalized the entrench, and UCC banned the anti-conversion law is to institutionalize segregation of making interfaith relationship, whether a martial, it's marital or informal, and almost impossible. So it should be catching on like. Looking ahead, UCC could be a blueprint of other states. Rajasthan High Court recently considered mandatory registration of live-in relationship, closely following the Uttarakhand model. So these are states are also going to implement. Like Gujarat is also contemplating a UCC model lines. In India, love and faith are deeply personal and subjective experience that each individual define their own terms. But this legal development not only threaten individual rights but also undermine the very fabric of India's pluralistic society. It's a very beautiful article, today's editorial, where the writers showing their whole concern that how women is also facing a lot of problem about these laws. Sixth is about the UGC mandate to evaluate, not strangulate. So the University Grant Commission in news again with some state pushing back on its directive procedure for appointment of vice chancellor. So unusual chief closely maneuvered kind of those Kerala, Tamil Nadu have campaigned against this. So directive unconstitutional law. So the state shoulders here is a role in instituting them their elected state, and a meaningful innovation is like they has been extended to a person who has distinguished themselves in other fields industry. So the articles are already coming about the UGC mandate. So just have one look how UGC should be judged. Like the vice chancellor is unconstitutional and against the spirit of federalism, but such complaints are declared from scrutiny of UGC courts and impose the uniformity of rules regulation across universities. So there is an appointment of vice chancellors through a not a non unconstitutional manner. So they are just against the spirit of federalism that it is talking here. Next is about how the internet shut down highest in 2024 globally India. So here there is a data about the India highest number of internet shutdown last year. Myanmar seeing one of the additional. In our country, if everything anything happens, there is just a disconnection of internets to normalize anything. But cutting down internet connections can't be just resolve that problem. So there is a India's government order corps here about let me just went to that article. Yeah. So it's the data show here people in 16 states, union territories that faces the shutdown problems. Like in Manipur is 21 times, Haryana is 12, Jammu Kashmir it's 12. Topping the list, the Defender India, and out of 84, 41 shutdowns were related to protest and 23 were related to the communal violence, and more shutdowns happened globally in 2024 than past year. So in 296 internet shutdowns happened globally. The report found that India has 84 cups, accounted for 28% of the of these, and 85 were imposed in Myanmar. And if these are result of countries, China imposed 2 shutdowns in Myanmar, Thailand 4, and exiled National Unity Government, Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, and Tang National Liberation Army imposed 1 shutdown each and control the areas imposed by unknown reports. So on the graduate level, combined examinations in Jharkhand, which took place in the half an hour, 22 morning through the were the 5 such shutdowns, and the general month Assam imposed a similar shutdown for the most districts in the government job exams. So there are data showing here. The internet shutdowns, exam related internet shutdowns are disproportionate response to possibility of cheating exams. These are access, the reasons for their shutting down of internets. So not a business as usual. So India's reputation for high quality generic drugs. That there was a report about before exporting the Indian pharmaceutical drugs, that how the US and other companies just check out the drugs, and they found that unacceptable amounts of diethyl glycolone and ethyl glycolone killed 66 children in Gambia, 65 children in Uzbekistan, and 12 children in Cameroon in 2000 in the South African countries where the drugs are exported, pharmaceuticals, and how it is affecting there. So there is just a global South is facing a crisis of reputations. Here is also news about the resistant killed. Here the India made eye drop contaminated by drug resistant bacteria killed 3%, 8 in US. And again in the BBCI investigation, it's Evo Pharmaceutical, Maharashtra based company, which was manufacturing and exporting the unapproved addictive opioid drugs. And also there is a recent news about the talpendol, and a powerful opioid with a carisoprodol. It's a highly addictive muscle relaxants, while the Indian drug regulator has approved the talpendol standalone drug. So the Central Drug Standard Control Organization can approve novel fixed dose combinations for state drug authorities. So FDC is only because of drug authorities that there is a more ignore the provision of law with impunity. So there is a infernal video evidence company was business of manufacturing and 13 million medicines and 26 batches of active pharmaceutical ingredients of terpidol and calciprodol are clinching evidence that are taking criminal action against the company. And these are the global south for their highest quality generic drugs are known for their pharmaceutical companies. And the synthetic opioids are a drug that is exporting deadly, and manufacturing synthetic opioid drugs cannot be pharmaceutical companies as a business. So moving to the next is about why pilots are asking more rest hours. So it is going to be raised the pilot weekly rest hour to 48 hours from July 1, Delhi High Court. So these cases is about the why pilots asking for more rest. So the incidents that happen due to the overtiming and overworking overload of the pilots that is facing during the journey. So they properly need a rest hour so that this type of incidents not occur. So these are going to implement from the it was brought by the Director General of Civil Aviation DGCA, and ruled that a vast chunk of these rules will come into effect from July 1. So these would bring a 6-year battles in Delhi High Court wages by pilot union against the punitive provision. So what did High Court rule? That pilot wear weekly rest from 36 to 48 hours, and airlines have to submit quarterly reports to fatigue complaint, and some of these are more continuous provision, postponed implementations. So why this demand for rest? Because there is a resurgence in a travel post of COVID-19. The pilot says they share a daily flying increase considerably, and which includes 4 landings a day. It's 4 landings a day and duty up to 10 hours and total duty up to 12 to 13 hours. So the higher level of concentration, so approaches and landing demands a higher level of concentration and complex decision, and more flight means a substantial increase in workload. So the change in DCA rule 2019, airlines are allowed to deploy pilots 2 consecutive nights for flying, and opposed, which is one of the most strongly opposed provision because it requires pilot to stay away their natural body clock with window of circadian low between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. So they do not feel fatigue, and the crew members also, the management protocols. Fatigue and management is a key area of operations. We follow a comprehensive fatigue risk management FRM process to assess any such reports. That's FRM reports. And the 3500 pilots is fatigue safety actions sustained their monitoring regulator. India has over 3500 flights. India has 35 pilots, which was a more than adequate existing fleet to current DGCA norm pilot. So the Quota Care Initiative roll out step to support a student in coaching hub. The suicide cases that is rising in the quota. So there should be a support care students in the coaching hub for the proper implementation in hostels, especially in girls hostel. Also there is a maintenance charge with a 2000 annual cap with a transparent payment system and CCTV cameras and biometrics. Special provision for women hostel, women wardens, and compulsory anti-hanging devices certificate with a no objection certificate for fire hazards. These are the steps that is taking Quota to support the students in coaching hub. Quota Cares is about the reimagining how we support the lack of students who come to the city for their living their dreams. I also live in Quota, and Quota is a very good city, or especially for serious students that are preparing, that give a very good platform. If you are just serious to your goals, IIT, JEE and Bio is very good center. I was a medical student, so I can relate it more. So the surveillance capitalism, the power of control personal data. So what is surveillance capitalism? Basically, there is a story kinda that let me just. So if you are just if you are just sharing your while chatting, you are sharing your views like what we are going to wear and what you need, like new dress and accessories. in same evening that the social media knows that some of advertisement for dresses, shoes and jewelry. In simple way, exactly what happens in surveillance capitalism is, it is an economic system which personal data system collected, analyzed, and sold by tech conglomerates to predict and manipulate the human behavior. The system is so integral to digital economy that it has reshaped the capitalism itself. The American author Professor Zuhoff says that the surveillance capitalism is a new economy order, and it's like a colonialism and industrial capitalism. So unlike a traditional capitalism, it resolves around the goods and services, and extracts human experience to raw material to the mind data, predict behavior, influence decisions, and so advertise political campaigns. Entities, companies like Google, Meta, tracking the monetizing every click. So different from past form is different from industrial capitalism. While industrial capitalism relies on labor, material production, service and capitalism profit from the behavioral data extractions instead of tangible good. So how this is driving its profit is by analyzing the data extractions of the behavioral data extraction. So despite in regulations, there is awareness of dangers of surveillance capitalism. The regulatory framework struggle to keep pace with technological advancement. So next is MP attract a 3 lakh crore at a global summit that is happening in the Bhopal. 3 lakh crore global summit. So that's for all. Let's have a summary and ending this session. So covering with the front page, it's about the tunnel, fresh hurdle decay of the 8 trapped in Telangana tunnel. It's pole-bound Bihar, the Modi initiated transfer of farmers, the PM Nidhi scheme. Second is about the merge on the course of taking Germany to unite Europe, and discrimination. And same article is also Germany related. Same here is about the Germany center sleep and Gupta elected Delhi Assembly Speaker. Fourth is about the RTI Act, right to delay information. Fifth is about the fencing out the interfaith relationship New India. Sixth article is about the UGC mandate to elevate and strangulate. Seventh is about the internet shutdowns in highest and not business as usual. Eighth is about the why pilots are asking for rest hour. Ninth is same related to weekly rest hour and quota care initiative fund initiative steps taken. And what is surveillance capitalism we discuss here, and MP attract investment of 3 lakh farmers summit. So that's for today. Ending this session. Tomorrow let's meet with tomorrow editorial. Till now, thank you and good night.